There we go. Can you, is that the right screen up?
Yep, we've got you. I'll jump on mute.
Fantastic. That's great. Well, good morning, everybody. And we're going to be sharing with you for the next sort of 15 or 20 minutes just some data management practice tips on how to stop things going wrong before they do. Because when we start to look at software and data management, we're always on the cusp of data not synchronizing and working in the right way. So if we can stop it going wrong, then the whole experience, if you're a dealer, your customers are managing data well, and if you're a customer, hopefully you're getting the very best out of the data that you're using on your machines. And so software is the center of all of your operations. Ideally, whether it's the old software or the new portal, whichever one it is, we want to have the data going in and out of the machines as your digital file. So you've got your grower farms and fields all set up before you start gathering or applying data. And it's going to become even more important when we start looking at the CropScan Cloud. CropScan Ag Cloud, because there's such a close linkage between the online portals and the cloud and then your machine, that we want to get this right from the very beginning. And automation is absolutely fantastic. When people say, oh yeah, it's going to automatically work, well, it's got to be planned. And as soon as we say things are going to be done automatically, we think that they're going to be done automatically right. Well, there's a very fair chance if we haven't planned our automation, it won't go as well as we want it to. So planning our planned automation will work, unplanned won't. And we've got to be really careful about this. And especially in the days of USB sticks, we had a little bit more, maybe a few more processes in place to try and manage that a little better. But as things now are working on the cloud and various servers, then automation just sort of happens. But we want to make sure that we get the management tree and the digital farm set up accurately right at the very beginning, because once we've got our digital farm set up, then we've got our field boundaries, which are absolutely vital now in whichever platform and portal we're looking at, whether it's our yield data, AB lines, protein maps, etc., etc. They will all be inside our digital paddock boundary, and that is really important, because then we've got accuracy, reliability, and compatibility between the different systems, and then it's much less likely to be going wrong. And so this is really super important. And when we sort of talk about the digital farm, our digital farm has to equal our physical farm perfectly. So when you've got your paddock names, we want to make sure that they are a proper representation of what is on your physical farm is represented in the software. Now, whether it's the old software, whether it's SMS, whether it's the new PLM AFS Connect portals, it doesn't matter. It is underpinned by grower, farm, and field, and that is the most important part of the whole process. Hopefully, you'll all be recognizing this, but if not, then the slide here has got this is just a management tree that I took from a grower down in WA, and this is sort of real live data that came from a couple of headers. And we've got this farm name is the same as this farm, and this field 14 is the same as this one, which is the same as this one, which is the same as this one. And just for good measure, this 6 and 5 is the same as that 5 and 6 there. And so if this is the way that we're wanting to manage our data in the past, it's certainly not the way that we're going to be wanting to manage it in the future, because this will create absolute chaos, both from an application map point of view, yield data gathering point of view, AB lines. It's just not going to work. And whilst if that's what you've got now, the great thing is, in whichever version of software that we've got, whether it's the old software or the new one, we can tidy it up. So we can take chaos and create it into something that is very representative of what you've got. And if you're in the situation where the data isn't in a good shape, then we can certainly help you and advise you on getting it organized. And that is the first thing that you'll need to do. Because as soon as we've got our management tree organized, when we send it out to our monitor, it is exactly as we want it to be. And that makes life much easier for the operator on the machine, but it also makes life a whole load easier for you when you're managing your data online. And if we're collecting yield data, it's gone through the Engage app, and we've created variable rate maps, then we want to put it into the monitor for seeding time and for spraying as well. And if we've got everything in the monitor where the names are set up correctly, then it makes everybody's life a whole load easier. Yeah, maybe a little bit of an effort to start off with, but boy, that effort is well worthwhile. And so whatever we have, we've got one management tree to many monitors, and so we can see all the names that are going to be on our monitor, whether it's taken out by USB stick or whether it's synced over the cloud. It doesn't matter. It's all going to be the same, and that is where it is super important. And a couple of little sort of items around management tree naming and paddock naming. We've got our fields here, and are in green, where we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, paddock 1, 2, 3, 4 in both the farms. That can become super confusing if we aren't a little bit clearer in the way that our paddocks are named, because we want to have every single one as a unique field. And a unique name. We shouldn't have anything that is similar or likely to cause confusion. And another one is that I'm very keen on encouraging you to put in your grower and your farm names in lowercase, and the fields as well, because if we create something in uppercase, there's a very good chance that has come in from the monitor. It's been typed in new on the monitor for some particular reason. This is not super essential, but I've had many growers who've said, yeah, I didn't think it was that important, but then when data's come in back from the header and it's in capital letters, they can understand that it's new and then do something with it. Whether we're going to rename that as it's a new paddock that you've taken on, or it's just being created temporarily and you can move the data around afterwards, it doesn't matter. But it's having that easy identification of data that is important, and just get consistency rather than having the paddock names in uppercase and lowercase. Have them all the same. So I know that this laneways here, for example, I haven't looked at it yet, but if I had looked at it, then I'd rename it into something in lowercase. So I just know that I'm consistent and organized. We don't have any duplicates. And as I said, digital farm is equal to our real farm, our virtual, our physical farm perfectly. Now, I'm not sure how many of you have come across and used the new AFS PLM Connect portals, but it's absolutely vital that in these you have field boundaries that are present. If you look under your grower, your farm, and your fields here, if you see the name in red, it means that there's no field boundary present. And so when we create the management tree in the new portal and you see them as red, we now the next stage after that is to be able to go and create boundaries in one way, shape, or form. And if you go onto the portal and you see we've got we see some data in the window, but we got an item number 10 here. There's 10 paddocks there. There's the yield data is present, but there's no boundaries there, and so the data, you can't actually do anything with it. So getting the boundaries in is super important. And here we got an example of a grower who's got all the boundaries all organized and bought in, and we've got the paddock names there as well. And this is really what you want to be seeing, well organized, all in lowercase, and set up really well. That's what we want to see from everybody, if we can. When we're creating boundaries, a number of people ask me the best way to go about it, and it's not doing it. The ideal way is not doing it when you're on harvesting or spraying or seeding. It's do it as a separate task away from harvest. You can do them on the portals, but they're going to be less accurate. than if you do them in the paddock, drive around with a ute or something like that, and get the highest level of accuracy you can, get the RTK accuracy. Do them once, do them well, and you won't have to do them again unless you merge boundaries and merge paddocks and things like that. So we want to make sure that we got the boundaries there to do all the activities that we want, and it's got auto field select on your monitor as well if you've got the boundary set up correctly. And yes, so if your agronomist has done the boundaries for you, and then we can import shape files, CSV files. There's lots of ways in which we can get boundaries in, but the most important is when we do them, let's get them in accurately and correctly, because if we don't, then it does create problems later on. And yeah, if we've got a management tree from the SMS software, we can bring those in, Decipher, AgWorld, number of different formats, or just as straight shape files, we can bring those in as well. And so rather than having to redo them if you've done them before, let's look at what you've got and bring them in from there. Makes life super easy. A/B line management as well, that's really important. As we see here, we've got field 1, field 1_1, heading 1, and these are all representative A/B lines in a particular paddock. And which A/B line do I choose? And it's not ideal for the operator when you ask them to choose the A/B line in the paddock. But what happens now is that we're going to be excuse me, we're going to be aligning variable rate grids with A/B lines in your paddock. So it's even more important now that we get the A/B lines in the software named correctly. So this one's on the east boundary. That's what they've called it. VRA map is created in the Engage app that Ed and Matt will talk about later on. And then we get the same east boundary line in our monitor. So getting the A/B lines named and set up correctly is going to become even more important, especially when you get to the stage of creating variable rate maps in the Engage app. We did see this one the other day. I'm not quite sure how this one was created, and this is a great example of the one that we shouldn't really be keeping hold of. However, it was managed to be created. And just a couple of little things at harvest time, probably more than any other, is get your importance of crop type and getting those set up on your monitor. And so protein is related to crop type, so we want to be making sure that we're setting and collecting the right data against the right crop. If you haven't done this on your monitor, then filter out the crop types that you don't actually don't actually need. So here we just want barley winter and barley winter and broad beans. And so when we tick those are the crop types that show up on our monitor, and makes again, just makes life a little easier for the operator. I won't go through cleaning off data and cleaning data off the monitor, but something that's really, really important, don't be afraid to hit the delete button on the monitor. And a monitor that is empty and clean will function a lot better. And we can make sure then we've got our most up-to-date management tree on the monitor when we go and do a particular job, harvesting, seeding, and the like. And so if we just go into the diagnostics tab, then we can see that we got 0 growers, farms, fields, and tasks. So we can export directly from the portal or from the USB stick a brand new management tree each time you want to go and do it. The first time you hit that delete button, you're a bit nervous that you're deleting everything, but we've got the data backed up. We've got our historical information, and working with a clean monitor, we'll make sure that we're not merging old management trees with new ones and old A/B lines with new and old. And so yeah, once you get into that routine, it does become a whole load easier, and you really will see the benefits of having a good management tree. So keys to data success really is keep it as simple as you possibly can by cleaning off the monitors, get the management tree, do it once, do it well, and keep on top of it. Accurate boundaries are really, really important and will become ever more so, as well as well-named A/B lines, and making sure that they're correctly set up. Prepare well for automatic data transfer, because I can almost guarantee it will go automatically wrong before it'll go automatically right. So let's take the pain away from that by just keeping and getting our housekeeping organized from there. And so once we've got our software set up, it's the center of our operations, and it will make your life a whole load easier, and hopefully a lot less stressful than it may be at the moment. So get our management tree well set up well, and then it will work well for us, and especially with what Ed and Matt are going to go on and talk about now. So that's hopefully those are a few hints and tips and of how you can manage your data well. Some of them may be familiar to you, others may not, but get on top of that, and it'll make everything else that you do a whole load easier.